what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent and Merciful, Soul Masters, the Judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teaching. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum. We have Sister Nubila from Arizona. We have Captain Shabazz from Atlanta. We have Christopher Carr from Detroit. We have Brother Jarvis Shabazz from Atlanta. We have Brother Samori Samad from New York. We have Brother Stephen Cowan from Washington State. We have Brother Abdul Ali from Maryland. And we have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. Today we like to talk about no female ministers in the Nation of Islam. And we want to start with Lewis. This is just one because he got a lot of quotes where he actually sneak dissing the messenger teachings on the woman. This is just one that's on Facebook, and I cut the person out who shared it. He says the home is not a woman's place. It's her base. Her place is wherever her gift will take her, if she is free to be who she really is. This Lewis. This just one of his quotes. He sneak dissing the messenger.
Yes, he is.
Because the messenger is the one who taught the black woman that her place was in the home. Because when you read the history, because the thing about the history that I love is that you don't have to read a whole lot of Muhammad Speaks newspapers to see how Farrakhan is a hypocrite. You just have to read a few to see the difference in how MGT used to teach on the role of the black woman and what this hypocrite talking about now. Because the thing about MGT, when you read the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, is early on when the black woman or when the Muslims was talking about the black woman's place was in the home, they was being criticized for that. Black women didn't like to hear that a woman's place is in the home. But just like with everything the messenger taught, over time, the Muslims had elevated being a housewife and a home keeping house to such a level that the lost found sisters began to admire the Muslims. They do to Allah. But the white man came out with what he called women's lib, another new idea to fight against the messenger. So this hypocrite, Lewis, he talking about home is not a woman's place, it's her base. Her place is wherever her gift will take her if she is free. See, that's a sneak diss. Because the messenger or Master Farad Muhammad came to free the black man. The black man has been robbed of a knowledge of self. The white man robbed us of a knowledge of self in 1555. So in 1930, July 4th, Master Farad Muhammad came, and the messenger said he gave us back to ourselves. So let's look at another quote from the messenger that this hypocrite takes out of context, because this is how he gives everything a misunderstanding. First, he says this. He says that a woman's place is not the home. So everything else that the messenger say, the sister gonna take out of context. She not gonna understand the context by which the messenger is saying anything. Because context is everything.
Yes, it is.
In 1972, when the messenger said, everywhere you see him, go, go, and all of that. Context is everything. Because the messenger was not telling the Nation of Islam to follow Lewis. Because if they were, when Wallace took over, he would have said, the messenger said, wherever I say, go, go. Wherever I say, stay from, stay from. Because those old believers knew that that wasn't the context that the messenger used. So this is an article that they share whenever they want to justify sisters being ministers. The title of it is called Messenger's Teachings on How to Become a Muslim Minister. It says in an exclusive interview printed in the May 12, 1967 edition of Muhammad Speaks newspaper, Messenger Elijah Muhammad was asked on 3 separate occasions. Here are the questions and his response. The question was, how does one become a Muslim minister? The messenger says, any believer who accepts the truth that God Almighty has brought to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, is automatically a minister. He may start teaching this truth even to women. They all become ministers. Then another question. It says, how does one become a minister of the Muslim faith? Because these questions that they pull out, it was many questions that the messenger was asked. But they just pull out the questions he was asked about being a minister. So the next question that he was asked on being a minister, he says, how does one become a minister of the Muslim religion? The messenger says, all Muslims are ministers. They believe and they will all minister the truth that they have received. They do not have to be made ministers. They become ministers themselves after hearing the truth. Then the last question. It says, is every member of the Muslim faith a minister? The messenger says, every Muslim is a minister, even the women. They will teach and administrate the truth they receive. As soon as we teach one, tomorrow or the next day, he is out trying to minister it to others. So this is how this hypocrite, Louis Farrakhan, misleads the black man. First, he lies, tells the black woman that your place is not in the home. That's the first lie. So that everything that the black woman hears is she's going to take out of context that the messenger says. Because the woman's place is the home. So then he gives them a quote from the messenger that they can take out of context that he can use to mislead them. Now let's go to a Muhammad Speaks newspaper and listen to an MGT. Talk about being a minister. This comes from the December 24th, 1971, Muhammad speaks. And it's called Messenger Muhammad's Ministers. And it's written by Sister Dorothy Wadad from Mosque number 2. And what I like about this particular article is you got Sister Dorothy Wadad writing her article, and right next to her article is The Woman in Islam by Sister Margie Hassan. And the title of her article is called Woman is the Homemaker. Just by coincidence, I guess. But all praise is due to Allah. So she is reinforcing what Sister Wadad is saying. So not to read the whole article. Sister Dorothy says, we who work daily with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his home would like to do more. But we are women. Our place is in the home. But you ministers are an extension of him to the people. If you love him, help him raise the dead nation. After all, what good is a man if he will not earn his own keep? The harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. And this comes from Luke 10, verse 20. All praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now this sister already knew that 1967 interview with a messenger, he was not telling her that she could be a minister. Because she says it's much more that we would like to do as sisters who working with the messenger. But she said we women. And that shows you how high they put the role of a woman in the Nation of Islam, because that all praise due to Allah. She wasn't degrading herself by saying we women. She just saying she has the knowledge of self. The messenger taught us. He says the black man is the original man. He says the black man is the only self-created man on earth. That's the facts. He said that the black man made the black woman for his pleasure. Yes. That's the facts. And that's what MGT used to write. That's right. Because the thing about the teachings of the messenger that made the messenger's teaching so good is because sisters taught sisters, brothers taught brothers. Praise due to Allah. Because in the new school Nation of Islam under this hypocrite, Louis Farrakhan, we have two extremes. First, we have the extreme of the black man's guide to understanding the black woman. That's a sister trying to use the teachings of the messenger to stroke the ego of savage brothers. Yes, sir. That's one extreme. Then the next extreme is this hypocrite Louis Farrakhan trying to stroke the ego of rebellious sisters. Yes, sir. But when you had the messenger, sisters taught sisters, brothers taught brothers. Because the messenger said men sharpen men like steel sharpens steel. The brothers ain't stroking another brother's ego. I remember a brother told me about a captain. He said that the brothers was coming in wanting to get married. Coming in real fast, thinking they supposed to get married. So the brother told all the brothers in their face. He said, don't you think for 1 minute that none of y'all brothers gonna come in here and pull some of these sisters out of here. That's what he told them straight up. Because the one thing that I like about the teachings of the messenger, it wasn't no such thing as the cream puff Nation of Islam. I gotta say that. Because when the messenger said men sharpen men like steel sharpens steel, that's an actual fact. Because the messenger taught us the true knowledge of ourselves. He taught us to black man to shoulder our responsibilities. So the messenger designed our uniform and put the star and crescent on our shoulders. He taught us what is a fruit. He said a fruit is the best. Yes. He said he's constantly training and conditioning himself to overcome all obstacles in his path. He said his sole purpose is to deliver the dead to the land. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's a FOI's sole purpose. It's not the sole purpose of an MGT to deliver the dead. It's not her sole purpose. Her purpose is to please her man. Praise due to Allah. But see, we live in the new school nation of Islam. That's down talking the black woman to say her role is to please her man. But the messenger, let's go on even further with MGT. Here is another article by Sister Dorothy Wadad. This time, this one is from March 2nd, 1973. And the title is called The Black Woman. Sister Dorothy says, prior to the coming of Almighty God Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and raised up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the black woman in America was totally ignorant to herself and her role. The devil white man has done such a thorough job of destroying the black family and forcing the woman into a more and more dominant role. Until today, she actually pictures herself as being equal to the man. Now, I'm not against sisters fighting. I'm not against no vanguard. I ain't never heard of a vanguard, to be honest. I was trying because the thing about us who never saw the message, we don't know a lot of times if this hypocrite telling the truth or he lying. We don't know. I ain't never heard of a vanguard, to be honest. I don't know nothing about a vanguard at all. So what I did, I went to the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. I searched as many Muhammad Speaks newspapers as I could looking for the vanguard. Only time the Muhammad Speaks talks about a vanguard is talking about people overseas and they aren't. It don't talk about the MGT as a vanguard. But even if the messenger did make this vanguard, this warrior class, I ain't against that at all. Fight, I'm not against fight. Sister fight, brothers fight. But what I am against, this hypocrite producing all these macho sisters with these cream puff FOI.
Yes, sir.
That's why I ain't with that at all. Because the vanguard stuff could have went over my head. If the FOI was still putting people in check, still getting people together who disrespect the messenger, the vanguard stuff could have went over my head. But I get sick of listening to these macho sisters talking about how we not the woman, the black woman is not the woman of man. We are the woman of God. That's the type of stuff the black man is God. The black man made the black woman for his pleasure.
Yes.
But this hypocrite, you got to be a cream puff FOI to be with this hypocrite Louis Farrakhan. And that is why I get sick of listening to this vanguard stuff with all these macho sisters doing drill like they in the Marine Corps. But bust stop Bishop Nathaniel disrespecting the message. And ain't no FOI got him together. I'm getting sick of the vanguard stuff. So that's why this subject I decided to speak on. Because the messenger said that the FOI is the backbone of the Nation of Islam. But this hypocrite Louis Farrakhan, he hates Allah and the message.
Yes.
He always hated Allah and the message.
Yes, sir.
This hypocrite, before he joined the temple, he said he was sitting in the crowd listening to the messenger. He said he felt like the messenger couldn't talk right. So I guess he talking about the messenger read his thoughts and said, well, you take what I'm saying and put it in that fine language of yours. That's just him off the top, thinking he better than the messenger.
That's right.
The messenger had Malcolm X already before this hypocrite even joined the Nation of Islam. The messenger already had a strong FOI before this hypocrite ever joined. But he still all praise is due to Allah. But this hypocrite, listening to the messenger, talking about he on. I never noticed that. What I did notice about the messenger is the way he talked. I know I listen to the way he talk different than everybody else. But he don't talk no different than my grandfather. He don't talk no different than my grandmother. I never thought my grandmother spoke broken English until I got into an adult and realized, oh, that stuff. Because I know when I was young, my mama used to tell me to go get her house coat and her house shoes. I didn't know till I left home that people don't call that a house coat and house shoes, but that's what I thought it was. I thought the robe was a house coat. So I went and left, joined the Navy, and I see people wearing their house coat and house shoes outside. That's house shoes, brother. That's a house coat. That's how I realized that we was all the time speaking with broken English. But I still felt like my mother, grandmother, and father spoke wisdom. Yes. I never paid attention to how they talk. But this hypocrite, first he said that he felt like the messenger spoke with broken English. Then this hypocrite gonna say something else. He gonna say he felt like the messenger was jealous of him. He's just revealing what was always in his heart.
That's right.
How you think the messenger of God is jealous of you?
Yes, sir.
He always thought he was better than the messenger. So now the messenger no longer around. He got a cream puff FOI. So he can just sneak diss the messenger all over the roster. This hypocrite with his cream puff ministers, with his cream puff captains, with his cream puff lieutenants, gonna say the messenger didn't know how to say Farad. And they sitting there listening to, I just know, as a Muslim, the messenger taught us we are never the aggressor. We don't go out and attack. We don't go out and start fights. We don't do that with nobody. The messenger said, love for your black brother what you love for yourself. Right. But we fight for the cause of Islam.
Yes, sir.
The messenger said as a FOI, your sole purpose is to deliver the dead to the land. Yes, your purpose ain't to deliver the dead to a minister. It ain't to deliver the dead to a captain. It's to deliver the dead to the land. Praise you. Because God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, July 4th, 1930. He is the long-awaited Savior. He came to save the black man. So it is come. He raised up a messenger. He raised up a messenger who was special. Let's talk about the messenger for a minute. It was prophesied long before the messenger was born. God in the Bible said, he says, behold, I will send you Elijah. It says, and he will open the hearts of the children to the fathers, and the hearts of the fathers to the children, before I smite the earth with a curse. Yes, that's talking about the honorable Elijah Muhammad. It ain't talking about this hypocrite. No. The messenger said the planet Earth is the home of Islam. The messenger taught us that everybody needs a home. He said that the black man needs a home. He said that a nation needs a home. We need a home to call our, we need something to call our own. So the messenger taught us that our house is our home. The messenger taught us that the only heaven we ever gonna see is in our womb. Yeah. That's what the messenger taught us. Right. He said the black man made the black woman for his pleasure, to console him, to be his helpmate. But then you got this hypocrite who gonna come in and slander the messenger, sneak diss the messenger, and speak against what he taught, and tell our woman You not the woman of man. You the woman of God. Then there's something else that he tell these sisters. This hypocrite. He tells them, this is stuff that they just share on Facebook. It says, sisters, you should put God first, not your man/husband. That's what this hypocrite saying about the message. Sneak dissing up with them cream puff FOI. Because I'm not impressed. I remember, because my whole experience as a Muslim, we always were small. And when you first are a Muslim, that bothers you a little bit. Because it's hard as a new Muslim to see all these brothers and you don't have no brothers nowhere. Or you got a few brothers. You see when this hypocrite come, you see all of them brothers. You see all of them sisters. You see what it could be like if we all was following the message. You see when this hypocrite, I saw it and I remember, when this hypocrite was talking about all the FOI was going to hit the streets he was talking about. It looked like this hypocrite had about 500 brothers that used to be walking all up and down the street, going door to door every week. When he started all of this, we going to hit the street stuff. All of these FOI, all of these MGT, just for you to be sneak dissing the message. Just for you to be taking the black man to hell with you. But the messenger, he said that Allah promised that there will always be Muslims who love Allah and his messenger. He said that was a promise that Allah gave to him, that there would always be Muslims who love the messenger. He said the hypocrites and disbelievers will never be able to turn the black man's heart totally against him. And that's why we here. Because when you talk about this hypocrite, most people sympathize with him. Most people say, well, you ain't going to be able to change him. We ain't trying to change him. He can't change us. We going to fight this hypocrite like the messenger told us to. The messenger said, keep on firing. He said, one soldier fall, the next soldier step into his place and keep on firing. Yes, he said, pretty soon you will overtake the enemy. Yes, the enemy is black and white. Yeah. This ain't the old my black brother, Nation of Islam. I want to be a minister like the ministers I read in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. I'm just going to keep it real. Because when I see the Muhammad Speaks newspaper nation, that's the Nation of Islam I want to be a part of. Yes, sir. I want to be a part of a FOI. Like in 1971, when in Philadelphia, when Jeremiah Shabazz and the FOI in Philly heard they was going to have a meeting praising that hypocrite Malcolm Little. So therefore I said, let's go check it out. Let's go listen to what they talking about. I want to be an FOI. Like in I believe it was 73. It was the editor of the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Jet Magazine came out with an article praising black leaders. So the brother who was the editor of Jet Magazine, or the editor of the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, he contacted Ebony Magazine. He gave the person who was responsible for that article the 3rd degree. He said, why you talking about black leaders and you ain't got the messenger in there? Right. This brother had that brother explain why the messenger, the best and the greatest black leader we ever seen, did to make it. And why I love the Muslims. In the article, he said previously, Ebony Magazine, Jet Magazine, because the publishers of Jet Magazine published Ebony Magazine. They published Jet Magazine, Black World, several other magazines. He said previously, I give them credit. They have been reporting on the message. But he said this time, They should have did it again. Them the kind of Muslims. You should do it this, why you ain't do it this time? You do it every time you talk about it. You put the messenger in there. That's the Nation of Islam I want to be in. I don't want to be in the old my black brother stuff. I don't want to be in a nation where a minister can slander the messenger and he ain't worried about no brother saying nothing to him. Let's talk Islam. When that hypocrite Malcolm Little that Captain Joseph started seeing Malcolm go to the left. Let's talk about Captain Joseph. Captain Joseph was born in Detroit. He was born in the Brewster Projects. Brother Captain Joseph met Malcolm X in Detroit. So Captain Joseph said that when the messenger sent Malcolm X to Philadelphia, Malcolm X requested Brother Joseph. Because he said, if I'm going to be a successful minister, I need a good captain. So he said, if I go to Philly, would you allow Brother Captain Joseph to go with? So Captain Joseph left Detroit, went to Philadelphia with Malcolm. When the messenger sent Malcolm to New York, he requested Captain Joseph again to show you how close Captain Joseph and Malcolm Little was. But as soon as Captain Joseph heard that hypocrite say what he knew the messenger told him not to say, he called the messenger and told on that hypocrite. That's the kind of captains and lieutenants I want to have.
That's right.
Let this hypocrite know you better say the right thing. You can believe that old my black brother stuff all you want. But we're here for Allah and the message. That's the only way we'll have a strong brotherhood and a strong sisterhood.
That's right.
You don't have to have the MGT drilling like they in the Marine Corps. If you had a strong FOI, a FOI that had a backbone. The black man, the messenger said, is supposed to take some of the pressures of life off the black woman.
Yes.
Our woman ain't supposed to be worrying about fighting. They fight if they have to.
Right.
Sometimes the brother gotta leave the home. Sometimes the sister might be out by herself, be out with children. She should learn how to fight.
Right.
But she should know she got a man that'll kill anybody to protect this woman. That's what the messenger taught the FOI.
Yes, sir.
We supposed to respect and protect our woman.
That's right.
Our women ain't gotta march like they in the Marine Corps. They can march soft and gentle.
That's right.
Still looking like a feminine MGT.
Yes.
We the ones who drill like we in the Marine Corps.
Right.
Because we in God's army. That's what the messenger taught us. And we as the FOI get anybody together when they step out of line talking about Allah and his message. That's being the FOI. But Louis Farrakhan, the hypocrite, he hate Allah and the messenger. The messenger taught us. He said a hypocrite is worse than an enemy devil. He said if you see the hypocrite, you gotta get rid of the hypocrite.
Yes.
Then he taught us also. He said you never trust a hypocrite. He said after 1 year of hypocrisy, he said the hypocrite is classified with the enemy devil. So Louis Farrakhan is not our brother. He's not somebody who we want to have brotherhood with. He's an enemy of Allah and his message. And he's worse than the enemy devil. Because the messenger told us that the white man can't help himself. But the black man, after you got the knowledge of yourself, the messenger said, hold on to that plow. He said it won't let you go. You have to let it go. So that hypocrite, Louis Farrakhan, he decided to let it go. So once that hypocrite let it go, we let him go. Ain't no hold my black brother for no hypocrite or disbelief. Messenger taught us. He said you always be after the new ones. The ones who never heard it before. But he talked about the disbelievers. A disbeliever is a person who hears the truth and they reject it.
Yes.
That's what a disbeliever is. And a Muslim is supposed to fight the hypocrites and disbelievers.
That's right.
That's the teachings of the message. But let's go on with this hypocrite. Let's go to Sister Marjorie Hassan. This comes from the August 29th, 1969, Muhammad Speaks. And I got to say something about Sister Marjorie Hassan because I don't want to come across like one of these Kevin Samuels kind of brothers. That ain't me at all. We're not supposed to use the teachings of the messenger to dog the sisters. We ain't supposed to try to take the teachings of the messenger and tell the sister, I'm the original man. We created the black woman. We was here trillions of years. We're not supposed to do that. Because when we go to our class, the black man taught the knowledge of self and the black woman taught the knowledge of self. And when we know the knowledge of ourselves, we work together in harmony. That's how the messenger taught us. Ain't no sister supposed to tell no brother that I'm not the woman of man. I'm what God? The messenger told us the black man is the God of the universe.
Right.
So if you got a rebellious sister talking about what God? Let's go with Marjorie Hassan. Because what I like about Marjorie Hassan taught Islam. Marjorie Hassan and Sister Anna Kareem is two of my favorite MGT journalists. I got to give them props. Yeah. But I don't talk about them to say they better than no other sister. The reason why I like Sister Marjorie Hassan so much. This brother one time, this was before they had all the Muhammad Speaks newspapers online. This brother gave me, I bought a box of papers from this brother. And it was like he had all 1969 papers. So in 1969, Sister Anna Kareem was writing Islam in Tuskegee. You had Sister Marjorie Hassan was writing Women in Islam. She was writing her articles with the messengers, and they both seemed to me like they was going off a lot. Sister Anna Kareem, to me, seemed like she was a younger, fiery version of Marjorie Hassan. Right. To me. Right. It seemed like Sister Marjorie Hassan was one of them old school seasoned sisters. Pray due to Allah. She seemed like she used to be like Sister Anna Kareem. But I done been there, done that. Now I just used the pen to beat up on all the enemies of the message. Right. But Sister Anna Kareem, she said, if you let me get them. Because Sister Anna Kareem used to write some hardcore articles. That's why I ain't feeling this hypocrite. And the one thing I like about them too, they always taught the teachings on the black man. They didn't never have to say all of this vanguard stuff to still be hardcore. They could still be just as feminine, just as Muslim girl training as any other sister.
That's right.
They do to Allah. They didn't have to say we not the black woman is not the woman of man. We the woman. Sister Anna Kareem went to Michigan State University. It was called something to salute to the black woman. She said, why are we black women? She was talking to a whole auditorium full of college students. She said, why are we black women? She said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the black man is self-created. He created himself in triple darkness. Then she said the black man made the black woman for himself.
Yes, sir.
To console him, to aid him, and to be his helpmeet. That was Sister Anna Kareem. Sister Margie Hassan. The first time I heard that the black man made the black woman for her pledge, for his pledge, she said that. I didn't read it from the messenger first. I read it from Margie Hassan.
Yes, sir.
And that's why another thing about sisters. Them sisters was hardcore too. Them sisters kept sisters in check. And that's what we need.
Yes.
We need hardcore sisters and hardcore brothers. We need them kind of sisters that'll see a sister that try to wear her garment just tight enough. Tight enough where you can't say nothing, but you could say something. We need them kind of MGT. Say, sister, you need to go put on some. The messenger told us to be tailored, not tight.
Right.
We need to count out for to see these brothers wearing their suits real tight so we can see your muscles. Hey, brother, go get you a suit that fits you.
Right.
That's what we need. Brothers teach brothers. Sisters teach sisters.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go on with Sister Margie Hassan. This comes from the August 29th, 1969. Muhammad speaks. Margie Hassan says, Messenger Muhammad teaches us that husband and wife must learn their relationship. Excuse me. She said they must know their place and their authority. That's what husband and wife need to learn about the relationship. They both need to know their place and authority. This is how the messenger taught us to have harmony. The brother know his role, the sister know her role. So she goes on to say, she says the woman in Islam knows that the black man is the God of the universe. She didn't say that God is the God of the universe, like this hypocrite Lewis. When he talking about don't put your trust in your husband, or don't put your husband first, but put God first. Sister Margie Hassan teaching the sister, your husband is God. This hypocrite Louis Farrakhan. So she goes on to say, she says the woman in Islam knows that the black man is the God of the universe. He is the creator and maker. He also made woman. The Bible and Holy Quran both verify these great teachings of Messenger Muhammad. She says by nature, the man is the boss and the bill. This from an MGT.
Yes.
Teaching the black man is God. Your husband is God.
Yes.
The black nation, the messenger said. He said we have one among us who we call the supreme being.
Yes.
The one who knows what we don't know. The one who's independent. The one who is self-guided. That one name is Master Farad Muhammad. Master Farad Muhammad is the true and living God. He is the divine supreme being. He is the one over us. He is the one we look to for help and aid. But the black man, collectively, the black man is God.
Yes.
The black man is the God in his house. And his wife work together with her God. Or with the God, like Sister Margie. The God.
Yes.
The black man. So she goes on. She says the God made woman for himself. Or from himself for himself. Therefore, the relationship between husband and wife is that they are one person. The woman was made to please the man, to care for his needs, and to truly love, honor, and obey him. For in Islam, everyone is under the law of Allah. And in obeying her husband, a righteous Muslim, the woman in Islam is obeying Allah.
Right.
That's what Margie Hassan is teaching the MGT. That's how you don't have these Casanovas like Louis Farrakhan. You should go listen to this hypocrite. He at the Breakfast Club. The sister's name is Angela Yee. They got the brother, I forget the brother's name. But this sister named Angela Yee, she one of the DJs or one of the people who in there in the Breakfast Club. So this hypocrite Louis, he in there talking about the beauty of a woman's breasts. In there with this sister in there talking about how the black man worshiped the woman's breasts and all of this stuff he talking about. That's why the messenger would not let brothers teach sisters. Brothers are ministers over the temple. We teach the believers. We teach everybody get an in general teachings of the messenger. But when you go to your class, that's when that FOI learns how to be a FOI. Right. That's where an MGT learns to be a MGT. I'm not going to be sitting up here telling sisters the beauty of your breasts and we worship the breasts and all of that. That's for if they going to talk about that, they talking about that in MGT class. I ain't even that kind of brother. I want to talk about fighting. I want to talk about the sword of Islam. I want to talk about the beauty. Let's just keep going on. But this hypocrite who hates Allah and the messenger, he hates the kind of love that the messenger got. Now, I have an article, and this article blew me away. The messenger had a meeting because the messenger used to have meetings in prisons. So they wrote this big article where this hypocrite Louis Farrakhan, when he was the national representative for the messenger, I believe it was either from 1970 to 1974. I forget the exact year. But it was Farrakhan, the messenger's grandson, I forget his name, and an entourage of Muslims went to Sing Sing prison to have a meeting. So what was blowing me away is the messenger's grandson was writing the article and he was giving his impression on going to a prison. He said, I was born in the nation. I ain't never been in the world. He said, I was a little uneasy when they told us we was going to a prison. He said, when we rolled up on the prison and we seen all them big bars and all them locks and gates, he said it made me feel kind of uneasy because I ain't never been in the world. I always been in the nation. He said, but when we got in that prison and I seen all that brotherhood, I seen all that discipline, he said, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's why this hypocrite, he hated the messenger. Because you don't know, because this hypocrite Louis, he popular. I give him that. This hypocrite is popular. But the messenger got love.
Yes.
Totally different thing. What's the difference between love and popular? This hypocrite Louis Farrakhan, he go to the Breakfast Club. He let FOI be with all the rappers. He let the sisters be with all the rappers. He let Snoop Dogg be all up on stage. That's being popular. The messenger got love.
Yes.
You had to come correct to be around the messenger. The messenger you had to change your life to be around the messenger. The messenger told all them entertainers. He said, oh, y'all got 30 days to give it up. That was the messenger. If you ain't satisfied with me, I ain't satisfied with you. That was the messenger. The messenger never left his home. They used to have dinners for the messenger. Hundreds of dollars a plate. The messenger wouldn't even go. But let's get back to this Sing Sing prison. The brother said that the FOI that was in the prison, because they had FOI in the prison who was checking, and this was an event in the prison. I was like, wow, it's Sing Sing prison. The messenger sending his national representative and an entourage of brothers food. They did the meeting, all type of, he said that the brothers in the prison made their own FOI uniforms and fezes. He said they made the messenger one. And he said the messenger was pleased with his uniform. That was the messenger. The messenger used to have to tell them brothers in prison, stop sending me expensive gifts. Yes. That was the messenger. That's love.
Yes, sir.
Messenger had so much love. He had to tell the FOI, we are never the aggressor. He said, if you see me and I don't get excited, then you don't get excited. Because the messenger, this stuff that these people getting away with, they getting away with murder. I say it all the time. The only reason why these fakes get away with what they get away with is because Louis Farrakhan is a hypocrite. Because the kind of love the messenger got, he still had to tell brothers. Because brothers loved him so much. When you love somebody, sometimes you do something. This brother told me, he said they was going door to door. He said that this brother walked up on this person's porch. The person opened the door, saw they was a Muslim. So the brother, Muhammad speaks. This brother said something disrespectful about the messenger. So the brother who heard him and knew he was over there, he said before he can say, brother, don't, the brother snatched him through the screen. That's the kind of love the messenger got. Yeah, I'm doing my best to be obedient. But the messenger told the cat, you got to expect a brother to be a little disobedient. That was with the messenger. That was a little disobedient. I done snatched this brother. Then he said once he snatched him out the screen, he said he took $20 out of his pocket and threw it on him and said, get you a new screen though. Word is bond. That's what he told. But he said when they got back to the temple, they had to tell, we can't just be snatching people through the screen, brother. Little disobedient.
Yes, sir.
I done heard plenty stories like that. White or black. Yeah. Let's talk about the white man. Because I know all of these fakes who ain't on the message. Oh, they do that to the black man, but they wouldn't do that to the devil. Let's talk about 1969. New York Times. One of the messengers follows. His name is Matthew Shoemaker. The messenger told us, he said, fight with those who fight with you. Those didn't just mean the black man. Those meant the white man, the police, the FBI, the CIA. Fight with those who fight with you. Messenger said, call on Allah. He said, don't run. He said, never run on the enemy. Don't turn your heels. He said, because if you run, Allah's not with you. He said, even if you got to die, he said, at least you won't die cop. That was the getting love. Brother, no, I might die going out here selling papers. I might die getting into this fight. But the messenger said, at least I won't be a coward. That's how much of a fighter the messenger made them brothers. They'd rather die than to be seen like he a coward. That was the message. He said, don't be a coward. So in 1969, Carlo Gambino, the Italian mafia, and this why them MGT ain't had to be drilling like no Marine Corps with the messenger. They was light, feminine. The FOI got it. We cooking and having our stuff for the MGT at the Salam while the brothers out selling papers. The brother letting the white man know, when you come around the message, you best to keep or watch your mouth. One last story. I know I'm jumping around. I was listening to the messenger one time. He was being interviewed. Now, I wasn't watching him on the video. I was listening to him being interviewed. So you can hear all the cameras and stuff in the background and you can hear the chatter from the people. So this white man was able to ask the messenger a question. He said, Mr. Muhammad, this what I'm about to ask you don't have nothing to do with this press conference. She said, but why is that guard just standing? Why he looking at me like that? He said, could you tell him not to look at me like that? He just looking at me so mean. The messenger with a smile, he said, don't worry about him. He's not going to do anything to you. That was the message. Messenger had them brothers look at that devil. I snatched your head clean off your shoulders. And they saw it with the message. He didn't tell the brother, stop looking at him. He said, oh, he ain't going to do nothing to you if you don't do nothing to him. That was the message. I read this history. I want to be a Muslim follower of the message. I don't want to be in the cream puff nation of Islam. Before I die, I want to see what all that feel like. I want to see what it feel like to be a Muhammad speaks Muslim. I'm telling you, I ain't got to be a day. Just be with some brothers who down with the message. Just to be with some brothers who get upset to hear the messenger disrespected. I hate to hear people take the teachings of the messenger when I know the history of the messenger. I know all he suffered. I know he was on the run for 7 years just because he was trying to teach us the truth. He went to prison just to teach us the truth. His family turned on him just teaching us the truth. He was in the hospital. I listened to the messenger one time. This is my last one. He was talking about being sick one time. He said, I was sick, so sick. He said, my bones was shaking. He was like, I couldn't even hardly walk. But he said, I still got it to you. But do we sit around and let these people disrespect the message when we can't never say he'll be in the hospital? And you will hear Farrakhan say, I got a message straight from the messenger. And they used to think he was going to die sometime. But he'll still tell my people this. We got this new thing going on from the hospital. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam, greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent and merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone beseech for Thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard Thy teachings. Say He, Allah, is one God. Allah is He of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, there is none like Him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served worth to praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is Thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves, and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
What the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.